welcome back to my channel. I am Heather Tiedemann. I am a realtor down here in the beautiful area of Lexington, Columbia, South Carolina. And today we are going to be talking about everybody's favorite thing, nobody's favorite thing, the cost of living in Lexington, South Carolina. Let's talk about the true cost of things so you can actually be properly prepared to move here. But before we get started, you know what I'm going to ask. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. Also, hop on over to Facebook and join our Moving to Lexington, South Carolina Facebook group. Tons of great information there, and you can ask all the questions you want and not just get my opinion. You can get opinions from almost 10,000 other people. So definitely a great resource if you are considering a move to the Lexington area. Because while I think that I have amazing opinions, my opinions are not everybody's. So something to keep in mind. So you can get a wide variety of information from different people that may have a different perspective than me. But let's jump on into this. So one of the biggest things that draws people to our area are going to be our home prices. A lot of people move here because it's more affordable to live here. Where is it? We'll find out. I always recommend trying to find out this information about your current area that you live in and kind of comparing it, because different areas are going to have different cost associations. Some costs you may not even realize you're paying. So it can really help when you're breaking all this down to actually compare, is the cost of living here cheaper? Is it more expensive? Is it exactly the same? What am I giving up or what am I gaining by moving to this area? So that is one of the big things that I like to talk about in this video, is the cost of living. So back to the home prices. I got off on a tangent, I'm sorry. So the median sales price for July, I don't have August numbers yet because we're still in August currently, but for July 2024 for the Lexington and the surrounding areas was $325,000. That was the median sales price, which equated to about 99.3% of list price. So if, say it was a $100,000 home, that means that that seller got that, they sold that property for roughly $99,300. That makes sense to kind of give you a perspective. So most of our homes are selling pretty close to list price. Moving on to the second reason a lot of people move here, and that is because of the property taxes. And we've talked about this numerous times before. Not only do we have real estate property taxes, we also have vehicle property taxes. And when I say vehicle, I mean like your cars, your trucks. That also includes your RVs and campers and boats, and they even tax the boat motor. And this is the big one, the one that really hangs up a lot of people, is the vehicle tax. So it's really important to take that into consideration when you are doing your cost of living, because honestly, that vehicle tax can be quite costly if we're going to be honest here. So definitely something I would take into consideration. So let's go ahead and we'll start with the average property taxes on that median sales price. So as we talked about just a minute ago, the median sales price for July 2024 in the Lexington and surrounding areas was $325,000. So the property tax on that in the town of Lexington would be about $2,197, which is for a lot of people substantially lower than what they are used to paying. So definitely something that is a benefit to most, that you are saving thousands of dollars a year in your real estate property taxes. That's only if it's your legal residence. So something to keep in mind. But something to also take into consideration when you are considering taxes like that, because I know we have a lot of people that'll move here from states that have very high property taxes but don't have state income taxes. South Carolina does have state income taxes. Now, after you do your write-offs or you get credits and things like that, you may not be paying as much in state income taxes as you may originally have thought, but it is definitely something to take into consideration when you are doing a cost analysis of, is South Carolina, Lexington particularly, cheaper to live than where I currently live. So definitely something to take into consideration. Now, moving on from real estate property taxes onto your vehicle property taxes. As mentioned, that does cover your cars, your trucks, RVs, campers, boats, and boat motors. I'll give you the average. If you were to purchase a $30,000 vehicle and they were taxing you on $30,000 in the town of Lexington, your property taxes would be roughly $931.65 a year. Now, they do go down each year, not substantially, but just really something to keep in mind. If you have 7, 8, 9 vehicles, which some people do, that really adds up. And especially when you're getting into, RVs and boats, which can be very, very expensive, that property tax can be costly. And then when you first move to the state, you do actually have a one-time $250 transfer fee per vehicle. So definitely something to keep in mind. It's that first initial year is very expensive when you're registering, transferring all your cars and RVs and trucks and everything here. So it's definitely something that you want to budget. So we've covered home prices, we've covered the property taxes for those homes, and we've covered the big one of your vehicle tax. Let's talk about some other smaller things. Well, I don't necessarily call them smaller. They're depending on which one we're talking about. So your average electricity bill here is going to range somewhere between $200 and $225. Obviously, that is going to be very much dependent on your household. It's very hard to give a range for that, considering you have some people that live in 1-bedroom apartments where you have some people that live in 5,000 plus square foot homes. Your electricity cost does tend to be a little bit higher in Lexington, South Carolina in general, than it does tend to be in other states. So definitely something to keep in mind. We also don't have like oil heating costs most often, so that also is a pretty decent savings. I know a lot of people that move here from the Northeast where it's very cold. They have a very, very high oil bill at the end of each month. We don't really have that here. So definitely something to take into consideration with your cost analysis on that. You also have your water bill, and that's going to average somewhere between like $65 to $80 a month, again, depending on your usage. And then we'll move on outside of utilities, and we'll talk about a couple other little ones. I don't know why I keep saying little ones. They're just other items on this list. So grocery prices. Grocery prices are on par for really nationwide. Is pretty average in South Carolina and Lexington on average. I think a lot of people think groceries are more expensive here because they moved here after COVID when everybody's prices went up for groceries. So they're in their heads, they're comparing pre-pandemic prices to current prices, or they moved here during the pandemic before grocery prices skyrocketed. But on average, our grocery prices here are about the same as they are nationally. So you're not really going to be paying that much more here than you would be paying somewhere else. And we're actually, from some states, we're actually substantially lower. So it just really depends on where you're moving from. Then we'll move on to transportation. So another big reason that people move here is for the cost of gas. Lexington does not really have a great public transportation system. We do have things like Uber and Lyft, but you're not really going to be catching a bus to go somewhere. We definitely don't have subways. You're not riding the train somewhere. So you are going to be relying own your car a lot, and we're not a walkable area. A lot of people don't realize that. You can't live in your neighborhood generally and walk to the grocery store. 9 times out of 10, honestly, almost 10 times out of 10, you're going to be driving your car. But gas prices here tend to be much lower than the national average. Yesterday's average for gas was $2.97 a gallon. Again, subject to change. Every single day it changes. I just picked yesterday's average. If you asked a month ago, it was probably like $3.25 or something. Gas has been trending downward as of late. And lastly, we're going to talk about daycare cost. So we've talked about this before here. If you need childcare when you move here, put your kid's name on a list early, because we do have wait list. So definitely something to keep in mind if you are considering a move here. Now, daycare costs are going to range depending on what the daycare center offers. But on average, we see between like $190 to $250 a week. Some are less, some are more. It's going to depend on your child's age. But that is a pretty good general idea of how much a daycare is going to cost. Some unexpected costs that you may not think of when you're moving here. It is very hot and humid here, and very hot and humid attracts bugs. We talked about this in my Moving to Lexington group. So one thing that you may want to add into your budget is quarterly pest control, yearly termite bonds. Depending on if you do your pest control yourself or if you're hiring a company to do it, it will depend on the cost association with that. If you are doing it yourself, you can do it fairly inexpensive, maybe $20, $30 a quarter to spray for yourself. If you're having somebody come out, you're looking somewhere between like $100, $150 a quarter for them to come and spray your home for you. Termite bonds, if you're just renewing a termite bond, generally it's going to be about $300-ish a year. If you're getting a new termite bond, that first initial cost can be pretty high, somewhere between like $900 to $1,300 for that first initial bond, but the renewal is significantly cheaper. So if the home didn't come with a termite bond, you may have that first initial cost. But you definitely want to have some kind of termite protection on your home, because termites can be very costly. So that is what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. If you have any questions, or if you're wanting to know the average cost of something else that I didn't cover in this video, feel free to drop a comment below. Or if you've moved here and you had something unexpected, like an unexpected cost of moving here, I'd love to hear about it. I always love hearing what you guys have to say and seeing what everybody's experience is, because I learn something new every single day between my clients, people in the Moving to Lexington group here on YouTube. So I really love hearing about everybody else's experience and what they are finding out about our area. But I'm going to hop off of here, but before I go, if you do plan on moving to the Lexington area and you would like to talk to me, my contact information is down in the description box below, or it's 803-331-1632. I'm always available. Feel free to reach out at any time. And until next time, bye!